5 things off the wall.
That's us, man. 24/7.
You should expect the unexpected. I mean,
Make it known that this is all about being 100% authentic.
We are live now.
So, with that being said, let's jump right in. Yo, welcome to another episode of 5 Things Off the Wall. I am your boy, D Wills, and today we have the whole cast of 5 Things Off the Wall.
well, we have the whole cast all the time. But anyway,
Yeah, I
peace,
know. I just
beautiful-
felt like saying it.
Okay. Peace, beautiful
Nah.
people. It's your boy, Dev.
Hey, y'all. It's your girl, Crystal C. Mac.
The late guy is here. Walter's
Yeah.
in the building.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Yo, man, it was a situation, man.
The Shinley Bully.
No, shouts out to my man. Shouts out to my man Hubs at Modern Vintage Pittsburgh for the dope Shinley High School hoodie. This is pretty dope.
Yo, let's talk about what happened to you, Walt, because you had a pretty serious event happen to you before you got on the air, man. What happened?
So, I'm at the part-time hustle trying to do what I gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
And guy comes in the store, he's like, "Hey man, it smells like gas in here."
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay. He's like, "Nah, it's strong." Okay, whatever you say. He's like, "You can't smell it?" I was like, "Nah, I can't smell it." I was like, "Do we need to close the store down?" He's like, "I don't know." He said, "Let me walk the store." I was like, "All right." So he walks the store. He's a former fire marshal, right? So even though he's retired, he's still doing his civic duty, which is pretty awesome.
Was his name Bill?
No, it was not Bill.
Okay.
No, it was not Bill. Shouts out to the Columbia.
Oh,
Shouts out to the City of Columbia Fire Department for coming through and being awesome people.
Right.
He comes out, he said he could smell the gas. We figured it was the Chinese restaurant next to the store.
Why I gotta be a Chinese restaurant?
why got to be the Chinese restaurant?
Because it's
Right.
an actual Chinese restaurant next door to the
The
store.
last time he said something about the cat, and
They cook
Wow.
with gas. He checked the meters. He was like, it could very well be them. Whatever they're cooking with is just coming through into your system. I was like, all right. He said, but just call the fire department to see. So of course, you know how hard it is to get in touch with the fire department when it's not an emergency. Very.
Nah.
Very.
Did you well hold on? Did you say it was a gas leak? Because usually when you say that,
Yeah. So I told him it was a
But-
gas leak, and the one lady said, "Well, you need to call the utility company."
utility
Man,
company will say, "Why are you calling the fire department if it's a gas leak?"
Nah, gas leaks, they can come check. They got a meter. If you can smell gas, they got a meter, they'll run.
Yeah, but the gas company is going to be the one to come turn the gas off so that nothing else burns.
No,
Okay,
ma'am.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
Go
ma'am.
ahead.
No, ma'am. The fire department came out.
It's okay. I've only worked for the gas company for okay. Fine. Go ahead.
I had a few friends who were firefighters. I don't know what they're doing down there in Atlanta,
Mhm.
but a few of my buddies who are fire department people, firefighters, hooked me up, put me in touch with the people. They came out, they ran a little click meter, and it was pretty bad in there. So they went up on the roof. They said the AC unit was blowing gas into my store. So they cut it
That
off.
could have been bad as you sitting in there.
Yeah, they shut the
So
whole
you
thing
was
off.
so you was in there sniffing gas for how you don't even know how long.
well, to the point
5:30.
where he was already, his nose was already accustomed to it. He couldn't smell it.
Rocking with the mask. Plus, I rock with the mask on all day too.
So let me tell you how serious a fire gas leak can be. You can slam the door and start an explosion.
You too can
You
prevent
can-
forest fires.
You can turn up. You can slam your phone down, hang up the phone. Like if you had a call in the office or in the building, if you hung your phone up too hard, it could have sent a spark and started a gas explosion.
All right, I have a question. This is gonna sound like I'm trying to be a douche canoosh, but I'm not. All right.
Right.
What about static electricity? Let's say you was to touch somebody, and you know how sometimes you may touch
Yo,
somebody
that's-
for static electricity, and you got a shot, and you see the spark.
Any type
You
of
mean
spark.
Okay.
Any
You
type
mean
of
like
spark.
the way you used to rub your feet on your grandma floor
Yes.
near the fire and yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it was all the way around long situation for me tonight. So I apologize everyone
doubt.
for my tardiness. I know y'all don't care online.
No need to apologize. We're glad you're safe, brother.
So how did they fix it is what I want to know.
They turned off the gas
Okay.
to the unit.
Okay.
As they should.
And they're not the
So,
gas.
But then they had to air the store out though.
Yeah, they aired the store out too. Yeah.
And the store's gonna be closed tomorrow, right?
We just ain't got no heat and air.
I can't work under those conditions.
It's South Carolina, man. It ain't that bad.
So there's only one unit that serves your space.
Small, it's a small joint, so we just got to call. Manager got to call the utility, not the utility company, the landlord, to get the unit serviced. And he was like, "Yeah, it's already been serviced. They just serviced it the other day."
Yeah, that's the problem.
Well, isn't the so the unit is not the tenant's responsibility? It's the landlord's.
The not the tenant of that building, because we don't own the building. We're leasing the building.
Yeah, but usually how leases are set up, they're what you would call triple net leases, where the utilities are actually the responsibility of the tenant, not the landlord.
Right, but this isn't the utility. This is the actual. This would be the.
I'm including the
HVAC. The HVAC.
I'm including the AC unit also. So mechanical, electrical, plumbing, your water heater, your air conditioning equipment.
Yeah.
It's usually in the lease terms, it's the responsibility of the tenant, not the landlord.
And it varies. It varies.
Are you speaking from a commercial situation, Devin?
Yeah. Usually, all right. So usually with commercial lease spaces, not all the time, but but a lot of times the lease is called what you would call a triple net lease. And within the triple net lease, what happens is that the tenant normally is responsible for everything interior of the space, as well as the plumbing fixture, as well as the air conditioning equipment.
Yeah. Right. And so my wife and her current business, where she currently is, she's responsible. But at the previous place she was at, she wasn't.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. So, and it could very well be because of the type of business, because it's a corporation. There is no local office that would be responsible. If you want my manager to be responsible for it, you might as well just go ahead and pay one of the cats in the backyard to go ahead and do it. He's not.
Well, usually what happens is that when you have a chain like where you're at, they would send like something to corporate, and then corporate usually would have a national account or something set up where they understand what the lease term is.
Now, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. There's somebody who has to come out to service it. That's all I know. Someone's gonna have to come out and service it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this: we're glad you're safe, brother.
I'm glad I'm safe.
Back up. So, Devin, are you saying that you're speaking in the sense of who's going to replace the heater?
No, I'm speaking from either.
I mean the AC.
Who's responsible for
replace it or repair it.
Yeah.
Or paying. Yeah, so paying for that, but not the person that's going to install it.
Well, the person who's installed it would be the person who. It all is the same. It's all exclusive.
How's it all the same?
Because the person, it would be the tenant is responsible for either installing a new one or hiring somebody to repair the existing one. It usually falls on the tenant if that's how the lease term is written.
Okay. Because in a normal situation, I would say, if your landlord is responsible for the location and you're paying them rent to keep up the location, and it's not something that we did, right? Not something that he did. He didn't get up there and mess up the AC unit. So the landlord would normally be responsible.
You have every right.
Like you said, if
you're right,
the lease that whoever is, because in a normal situation, no, the landlord is responsible, period, point blank.
Right, Crystal. But usually in commercial spaces, you have these lease terms, and normally the lease terms is triple net. So what happens is that everything on the inside of the space, the plumbing fixture, the electrical box, the electrical panel, the air conditioning equipment, tenant. Now, everything else as far as on the outside of the building, which would be the exterior when you're painting, the windows, the doors, the asphalt, everything on the outside of that, the roof.
Yeah.
Landlord, owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So usually that's how it's structured in those type of
that's
Even
Yeah,
even
no
in,
problem.
even in a strip mall situation, because it's
Even in
not.
most
even
definitely, most
even
definitely in a
as-
situation.
and even at strip clubs, you said, yeah. I mean, well,
Well, you know, if the strip club is leasing, if the strip club is leasing the space, and then yes, that too. I have a question about that, about strip clubs as we continue to keep going.
Well, no, let's just go to it now, man. Forget all this
Yeah.
building
all
talk.
right, all right,
Ain't
all right.
none
So,
of them people sponsoring this, and they taking
all
up way
right,
too much
all
of our
right.
time.
So check this out, right? So I was coming back from somewhere earlier today.
Magic City.
Well, I'm gonna get to that.
Hmm.
I wasn't in Magic City. However, as I was driving to look to grab something to eat, and I was trying to find somewhere black owned. So I'm driving around, and I happened to be in the area where Magic City was, and I actually passed Magic City. And I have to be honest, for a fleeting moment,
mhm.
I was, because it was cars there. Mind you, it's around 11:30 in the morning.
You were
know,
thinking about the wings.
I was thinking about the lemon pepper Lou joint. So I was like, so I said to myself, I said, yo, you know what?
It's lunchtime.
Should I go in there for lunch, right? but I wonder, do people usually go in there just for lunch at that time? Like, I'm going to get lunch at Magic City, or I'm going to get lunch like at the strip club. Like, is that a thing?
Out here, I think out here, I know most of our clubs are closed midday. There's only a couple that are open.
Let me tell you something. Magic City's parking lot was full.
I have a friend that said they used to do it at Follies.
Hey, listen, that
say it again, Chris. Say it again. Hold on.
I have a friend that used to do it at Follies.
Follies is a strip club?
Follies is a strip club here in Georgia.
Okay.
I think it's closed now, but it's a strip club here in Georgia.
Right.
And they would meet there for lunchtime.
So that, I mean, I think that answers your question. Parking lot full, right? If you went in there and asked any of those dudes, right, or females, why they're in there at that time of day, right? I think they're gonna tell you they there for the lemon pepper wings.
Hey,
the lemon pepper Lou. They was there for the lemon pepper Lou.
Lemon pepper Lou.
Mhm.
They could have been having auditions.
Lemon pepper Lou.
Look,
They could have been having auditions and
Lou was ready to
interviews.
sacrifice his entire NBA career for them wings, man.
Hold on. If they was having auditions
And interviews.
If they was having auditions and interviews at that time with all them cars there, business is booming.
Oh yeah, well you know that. It's the Magic City is the holy grail of clubs in the Southeast.
And they had a shooting at Blue Flame the other day, so the strippers there might be trying to get the heck on out. So.
even more so than the one in Miami. What's that one on the show?
King of Diamonds.
King of Diamonds.
KOD. But all right, so here's my thought on it, right?
Yeah.
I think Atlanta is a little bit more attainable than Miami for most people.
How so? How come?
Proximity, cost. You know what I'm saying? Like you can have an epic time in Atlanta for
a cheaper dollar.
A much cheaper dollar than what you would if you had an epic time in Miami. And
but in Miami, are you able to do the girls get completely naked?
I don't know. I've never been
here in Atlanta, but I don't.
I've never been to King of Diamonds. I'm pretty sure in Atlanta they get.
Well, not just King of Diamonds, just anywhere in Miami.
Any strip club, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. I think the value is a lot greater. Indicator.
Okay.
Maybe we have
I see what you did there.
Maybe we have a stripper come on.
I see what you did.
Y'all know any strippers?
Wait. Shout out to Walt for spitting bar real quick.
I did.
Okay.
Y'all didn't understand that. It went over their heads, but it's okay. It'll come back to them later. Do it like the
Decatur.
Do it like the pastor do it.
So
you'll get that when you get home. You'll get that when you get home. You'll get that.
All right. So my brothers on the show today. So if I was like, yo, if y'all was in the A and I'm like, yo, let's go grab some lunch. Meet me at Magic City. What are y'all thinking?
Do I gotta pay? My first issue is, do I have to pay a cover in the middle of the day?
I don't know.
If I gotta pay a cover, I'm not meeting you.
If I can get in,
that's listen.
Well, why are you only talking to your boys? Like, what is that about? Once again, I'm singled out. This is why Coco is gonna have to join this show, or
My
Bridget, or somebody, because y'all, man, listen.
My wife is not.
You're right, Crystal. I'm sorry.
And in Women's History Month, how you gonna do that, Dev?
And it's Women's History Month. Shout out to the women. You're right, Crystal.
So,
my bad. You're right.
So listen, my wife knows.
All right, wait. So let me rephrase it.
All right.
I'm like, yo, what's up, y'all? We going to get lunch at Magic City. I need some of them lemon pepper loos. Y'all coming?
Listen, I'm there.
I'm there as long as I ain't got to pay a cover charge.
So if they got a cover charge,
I ain't going.
If they got a cover charge, Walt staying in the parking lot.
Yep.
We going in. My wife know how much I love wings, so ain't no issue, ain't no problem.
So my question is this now: how would I explain that to Shawnee?
What do you mean?
Going to get chicken
Does she
wings.
know how much you love wings?
Shawnee would be okay with that.
Yeah, you going to get chicken wings.
You think
I'm a wing connoisseur.
Like, yo,
now, if you come out smelling like butt crack and grease, we're gonna have a whole nother issue.
See,
but I mean,
I don't think
if I said I'm going, like Shawnee's not gonna be down to go. That's for sure.
Oh, she's not going.
I'm going. I'm pretty sure she'd be like, okay.
If you came out smelling like butt crack grease with glitter on your fingers and your face, then Shawnee would be like, whoa.
But see, I don't think you're gonna come out smell like butt crack and grease. You may smell like some type of fruit.
But the point,
but listen,
what I'm trying to illustrate is that you was way too friendly.
Yeah, way too friendly. Well, it depends.
Right. Why
it depends because
what is
because that actually, I think that might be one of the flavor of the wings. But Dissy might be one of the flavor of the wings.
Oh, use a damn line. Now you playing.
I was trying so hard not to use that term.
Let me ask this though. Let me ask if I'm butt crack and grease. So are you saying that because
I was just saying it?
You thinking I'm gonna be motorboating a girl's ass or something like
that's what I was saying. If you was to come out smelling like that, there would be an issue, don't you think?
But why would it be on your face though, Devin? Why do you have to smell like
the point? That's the point I'm trying to illustrate. Y'all do
why does it have to be butt crack and grease on your face? Why can't it be like on your
that's
on my chest or my arm?
I technically
say your leg.
That's one of the wing flavors.
I technically
say one of the wing flavors.
That's
why it's on
glitter.
his face.
I said glitter on his face. Is what I said actually, but whatever. Let's go ahead.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That's why your face smell like that and it's on your face because that's the flavor. That's the different flavors you get to choose from.
Okay.
Derek is a little too rejuvenated about this conversation.
Yeah,
I love wings, man.
His enthusiasm.
I love wings.
All right, so
his enthusiasm for wings is something else.
All right, so I got another one for y'all. So I'm driving up 85 North, right? And this is big billboard on 85 North, right by the airport, right? And it's of this image of this this man. It's a silhouette of a man, and he has his arms up like this, right? And his legs spread. So for people who can't see the visual, it's like he's in a what do you call him? It's like an X. So the man is like standing like an X. So his arms is out, his legs is out, right? He has on all white, and then he has a blood stain on his private part.
What?
Yes. So the billboard says, "Stop circumcisions," and
like who's getting a circumcision at that age?
But apparently,
Omarion.
Age there.
Omarion didn't Omarion get a circumcision late in life?
It doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be talking about a certain age. He's just saying don't circumcise your kid.
We about to Google that real quick. I think dude got a circumcision when he was grown.
Okay, so listen. So it says, stop circumcision. Circumcisions can cause all type of male genitalia mutilation. Vote no for circumcisions, all type of things. And then there's a website on there, and it's called bloodstainedmen.com. So
you go to the site.
I go to the website because now I'm like, what the heck? Like,
right, Devin, only
what?
you.
Like what?
I mean,
so I go to the website, and then I look at the website, and the first thing that comes on, you see these guys, and they're in all white, and they're doing the same pose as the silhouette was on the billboard, and they got the red blood stain on their private area, and they have these billboards up talking about how circumcision is wrong.
It's a mutilation.
Yeah. It's mutilation. So now I'm thinking, right, and I'm trying to figure out how to even ask these questions, because as I'm thinking of this and want to ask you a question, the big, serious, major pause is also in
That
my
they're with
head.
their penis out.
No, just talking about a period. Like, you know,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? But Crystal, from a woman's
No,
perspective,
no.
you don't even know what I'm gonna ask.
I know what you're gonna ask.
What am I asking?
Would I be okay with seeing someone with foreskin?
This is what I'm saying. So right. So my thing is, I am assuming that women are not with the uncircumcised.
So yeah, that's what
Isn't it unsanitary?
It is. So in 2014, Omarion got circumcised. Y'all do the math. How old is he?
So wait.
Oh.
So
old is
when did
That was 7 years.
was he married or was he just dating?
He had just had the baby. She was pregnant or whatever.
All right,
How old is he?
He televised the circumcision when he was on Love and
How
and
old
Hip
is he
Hop.
now? Though?
I
So how
don't know,
which-
but the point is, he was on the show making babies.
So-
he was grown.
so she was-
So
she was
well
cool
old.
with the ant. She was cool with the anteater at first.
He called it the Turtleneck Club.
So all right, so get
Yo.
into the scientific part of it. Yes, it is unsanitary because
Traps all kinds of bacteria.
it traps all kinds of
Germs,
bacteria.
yeah.
You have to
Mhm.
really be diligent in cleaning that because you can jack yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Come on,
Jack
look
yourself
like,
Yeah.
out here looking
No
like
pun.
Willie
No.
Lump
No
for
pun.
real.
No
Right,
pun
right.
intended. Devin, jack yourself up.
but
Willie Lump for real.
but anyway, but yeah, so
Uh,
but yeah, like what? Like Crystal,
So,
help me
Right.
out.
Crystal, have you and this is on the spot, Crystal. So feel free to answer or feel free not to answer. Have you
this
have
is so
you
terrible
seen?
that
Have you
Listen.
seen?
my family thinks I'm still a virgin.
Wait, you are, aren't you? You
Yes,
are.
I am
But
still
she
a
said
virgin.
fake.
I got
Okay,
you.
well,
I got you. Sis.
Have you
Don't worry.
have you seen a uncircumcised penis in person?
No.
Okay.
She's seen one in sex ed because that's the only time she's ever seen a penis. Because she just
Absolutely.
said she is a virgin.
Right.
That's right.
It's
No,
Women's
pink-
It's
I've
Women's
seen a
History
pink-
Month, and what
I've
we
seen a
not gonna
pink
do.
penis and I've seen an uncircumcised penis. In
That's
sex.
her story, and she's sticking to it.
We
So
look,
here's
we
the
just
other
talked
question.
about that. It's Women's History Month. We ain't about to throw my sister under the bus.
So
Thank
here's,
you.
That's right.
so
Yeah.
here's the other
I got
question
you.
I have. Here's the other question I have. Even for my sisters who are in the LGBTQ community, right?
Plus,
right? And they use toys. Or even for women, period, who use toys. There's no toys that are uncircumcised that I am aware of, and not like I get toys because I don't. But
Hey, Dev,
What?
though, that might be a business idea because I'm pretty
Nah,
sure there's
I'm
a
not touching
segment.
that. Nope.
There's a segment
I'm
of
good.
women out there.
I'm
segment
good.
of people out
So
there.
there, you want to walk around molded penises?
So,
Hey, I'm not
Derek,
going to do it personally,
so for
but
all
I'll
the
hire somebody to do
so-
it to start
so
this
for-
business.
so for all the listeners, D Wills is going to start an uncircumcised dildo business.
Listen, Derek, they put you off
Hey.
the corner. They putting you off the block.
Hey, listen, and listen, and when I'm a billionaire,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yo.
Don't come and ask for no corners
Derek,
either.
Derek,
Right.
not only are you losing your black card, you about to lose your trap card, all of that. Man. You out here
Everything.
Listen, hey, that's
mold
business,
pipes.
baby.
No.
No.
That's business, baby. I'm selling it.
Like,
I'm
come
selling
on,
it.
Ron Jeremy, let me
I
mold
ain't-
your
you know what I'm
penis.
saying? I'm not personally molding nothing. I'm
Somebody
not
will-
personally molding nothing.
The boss got to oversee production, man. So you gonna have to start. You gonna have to get your hands dirty, literally.
Yeah.
No. That ain't happening.
But,
All right.
Go ahead.
So listen,
Go ahead,
but,
Crystal. Go ahead, Crystal.
but if they asked you to mold your penis to make a dildo, would you?
I can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm married, man. I'm not going to do
It's
that.
not you. It's just you, Wayne.
But that's like putting
Not
your
like they're
wing
gonna
out
put
there
the
to other
initials
people.
DW on there.
I mean,
unless it got your face on it, like
Right.
ain't
That-
nobody gonna
listen,
know. Ain't nobody
that
gonna
collection. Every people know that's who did that.
People
Safari?
know.
Was it Safari that did that?
Damn, Derek, what the hell?
know.
No, I'm
People
saying.
know, like, yo,
Yo,
let me
my
get
man-
that deep Will's penis.
My man D.
I'm saying
my
like
man
people
D
do
Will
that. That's
got
what
the
they do.
international.
Let
He
me
got
get
the
that deep Will's
internationally known,
penis.
locally respected, but all around,
Derek,
all around classic.
Listen,
Yo,
I'm
Derek
saying.
said-
Yo,
wait. Derek said
I'm-
people will know.
people know. I'm like, what?
My
No,
man
I'm
said-
saying.
My man
No.
Now
said
we
his,
got
what
more
my man
questions.
said his tool got his own fan club. Like, yo,
People
listen,
know.
they gonna know.
Now, what I'm saying
they
Derek,
is,
gonna
you out
know.
here getting fans
but
on
people do
pages?
stuff
gonna
like
know.
that. They have their own line. That's what I'm saying. People have their
Oh,
own
they
line.
do.
Like,
You right.
like,
You right.
I think Safari has his own line, and people know, hey, this is the Safari line, so they ask for it, and it's
Nah,
packaged as
Sure.
that. So,
Okay.
Okay.
So the end of this conversation, right? We established that Derek is going to start an uncircumcised penis.
Mhm. And he got celebrity. He got celebrity man parts, man.
right.
Got celebrity status man parts.
nah, stop it.
He's gonna brand DW.
DW.
He got
Nah.
celebrity man
Stop
parts.
it.
That D
parts.
Dub line right here. That D Dub. That D Dub line. Let me get one of them D Dubs.
Yo,
Stop
the
it.
celebrity man parts. That's what's up.
Stop it.
Yeah, brother.
All right.
Yeah,
Listen,
brother.
in other news, we're gonna turn this show upside down. We're gonna flip it on his head, and we're gonna
Really?
hit the douche canoosh of the week early. So we're gonna start with that. So let's talk about your boy Joel Patrick.
The epitome.
Well, before we talk about that,
of a douche canoe.
Canoosh.
okay, so for the fans and for the listener, can we explain that this is douche canoosh and not champ anymore? Is that what's happening now?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
we
we
doing?
did. We rebranded it.
Or
We
is this
rebranded it.
one just so extreme that it's a douche canoosh?
Nah, he's
we-
definitely
we-
douche
no,
canoe.
Nah,
He's
we're
canoe.
rebranded.
We
We
rebranded on the fly.
Okay.
Mhm.
Joel Patrick, Devin.
Well, Joel Patrick had a shirt on the other day. Not quite sure where he was. Could have been Orlando. Could have been somewhere else. But he was hugging this.
I heard he was at the CPAC.
Could have been, but he was hugging this young lady, and the shirt said
She wasn't young.
Can we explain the race of the lady? Because that
She
probably will
wasn't.
be important.
First
she's
off,
white. She's
she
white.
wasn't young. She wasn't young. She was.
But she
old.
wasn't black either.
Nah, she
She
wasn't.
she was white. And a middle-aged woman, right? And
Still being nice.
Anyway, he's posing for the picture with her, and the shirt says, "This shirt is 100% cotton," and then in parentheses says, "That's why I picked it."
Yep.
And of course, people were in uproar about it because for those who don't know, we didn't mention this, but Joel Patrick is black. All right, so Joel
And-
Patrick.
For this quick sidebar, he refers to himself as the original black redneck.
Right.
Right.
On his Instagram page is the original black redneck. So he has a shirt on. It says that he has it in the red, which could signify the MAGA, Make America Great Again. Red. All of that stuff. But yeah, people were going off about it, and they was ready to cancel him quick. However, Joel Patrick is a gentleman who is a contrarian, kind of similar to our brother Walt, but not.
No, you will
Wait,
not.
let me finish. Let me finish.
The hell you will.
Not. Let me finish.
The sour life.
No, sir.
But not in the sense of his views and Walt's views. They're two totally different views. But he is somebody who is not a part of what
The establishment says.
Typically what black people are really fighting for. He is like, he'll say something like, white privilege is really not a thing. Because if white privilege was a thing, then Colin Kaepernick would have used his white privilege as opposed to what he was doing because Colin Kaepernick is half white. He would go with those type of arguments and be basically going against the grain of what everybody else is saying. This is just what he does. So he falls into that same line of people like Candace Owens and other people who are Black but don't have the same line of thinking and is proud to be different.
All right. So
Like-
before we let them too far off the hook with that, because you almost made it sound so romantic, like they're heroic in not being a follower, right? And that's not.
I'm not.
I mean, I know that's.
I'm not. By no means
doing.
am I trying to portray it that way, and by no means do I
Right.
agree with the views of Joel Patrick.
Right.
But I will say this. I will say that people are entitled to their opinion, right? And when we start to eliminate people for what they want to say, we do a slippery slope. Now, I'm not talking about people who say things that's going to basically harm or incite a riot, but if they have a different view from somebody else, they should be able to say that view, and whatever smoke they get from that, that's what they get. But they should not be censored for what they want to say, is what I'm getting at.
Right. But here's my thing, right? And this goes for the Joel Patricks, the Candace Owenses, the all of the I'm not
Daniel Cameron.
Hold on, I'm not biting my tongue.
No,
all of these coons that do these coony things. This coonish type behavior. No, because that's what it is. Like when you get to a place, when you get to a place where you're shucking and jiving and dancing for another race of people.
Shucking and jiving.
Tell them why you mad, son.
All in the name of
opposition to HR 1.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All in the name. All in the
Somebody-
name
somebody
of.
No, I'm queuing something up for the other douche canoes. I'm sorry.
I hear that. All in the name of being different, right? I'm so different, and I'm gonna side with, and I'm gonna part with. I'm a partner with the other race. So extreme,
But
but see, here's my thought on it. Really, for real. Like
it's about you know what I'm saying? It's about likes and
I get that. Yeah,
that's what it's about.
You can have all the likes you want, but when you marginalize my existence, my past, my ancestors, the history, and the things that are still plaguing this community, that plaguing and destroying our community, and then you want to go ahead and profit off of it, commercialize it.
It's insensitive.
It's not just insensitive, it's insulting. It's insulting. Like that's one of them things. Like, bro, like if you were to be that crass or that cocky in front of me, I wouldn't be mad if somebody punched you in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like you earned that. You earned it. Like that's how people literally get assaulted, because
2 piece and a biscuit.
That's a trigger. That it is. Bottom line, that is what it is. So I don't care if you want to be a Black Republican. I don't care that you want to call yourself a Black redneck. I don't care about none of that. I don't care that you want to align yourself.
I don't even know what that means.
Right. I don't. But and the craziest thing is, a stereotypical redneck is literally a polar opposite to this guy. Like nothing about him says redneck. Nothing about him says rural, Southern country America. Nothing.
Do we have any audio on this guy?
There is audio. I'm not playing it, but there's audio. I refuse.
Okay. All right.
I refuse.
So no audio.
You know who he sounds like? He sounds like Carlton from the Fresh Prince.
Devin, do you have audio from him?
I did. I gotta find it again now.
So while Dev is finding that, and I know this isn't in line, and we got another douche, but this is something that, and it's a sensitive topic for me. I know Dev, and all of us, we talked about it briefly, we were supposed to talk about it last week. This goes in line with the dude who's the professor who wants to make heroin use kind of like just legal. Like he says he's a functioning heroin addict. Bro, again, you're marginalizing and you're completely trivializing something that has destroyed the Black community. Drugs literally blew up, heroin in particular, blew up the Black community in the 70s and 80s and 90s. And you're going to talk about, we just need to legalize it, decriminalize it? No, you idiot. There is and he looks like so I seen him on a Breakfast Club. He looks like a junkie.
So you did watch it?
Yeah, he had a junkie. He had a junkie twitch about him. It's like, dude.
So they were, and he got offended when Charlamagne asked him about that. But
he
then,
said that because I cut it off. I couldn't keep watching.
He was like, "You all right? And so he kind of got offended a little bit, but he did have a whole reason why he said what he said about the heroin thing. I don't remember the whole thing, but it was in line with he had a friend who lost a child to heroin or something like that, and her thing was to not to warn people not to allow this to be them. And so there was a reason behind him saying that. He, not to say it's a good reason, but it was some stuff that happened with an old friend that passed away, and basically
he said something to the effect of like, basically by making it mainstream, by making it normalizing it, it eliminates the stigma associated with it, and then people can recognize that they can get the help.
The same argument people make for marijuana, right? Like if you make marijuana, but is that not what he's saying?
No, the marijuana argument is.
I mean, I know there's a difference between marijuana and heroin.
I know you know that, but what I'm saying is the marijuana argument is that marijuana is not a gateway drug as it's labeled as. It's not as harmful, and it's not as damaging to the human body as some of these other. They say alcohol is more damaging to the human body than marijuana is. When done,
but as I raise one up and drink,
right. That's what they say. But see, his point is if you take away the stigma associated with heroin, right, then people can get the real help they need. It's not heroin that they need. It's they have some other problem, and they use heroin to cope, and they never acknowledge that they have a problem, right? But see, to me, that's stupid, because if I have let's say I got a mental health issue that nothing that I'm being medicated for, but I have a issue, not mental health. Let's just say I have an emotional issue where I'm depressed or I'm going through a lot in life and whatever.
Well, that's fine. That's mental health. Keep going.
Right. Okay. And I decide I'm coping with some sort of narcotic, right?
Yeah.
What happens is, and this isn't me speaking out of some textbook. This is speaking from experience. When you can't cope with your issues and then you go to drugs, those types of drugs to cope with those issues, they're so intense and they're so strong. They take you so far from reality that you cannot return back to your normal reality. It's too much. So what do? You go back to the drugs. That's the addictive behavior. He's talking about there's no science that proves there's an addictive behavior. I don't know what science, science book he read.
But here's the thing, man. Are we really going to take a heroin addict serious?
He's
right,
but see, that's the thing. He's getting this publicity because he doesn't look like a regular heroin addict.
Right. And he calls himself to be, he's a self-proclaimed functioning heroin addict. Right. That's self-proclaimed. So I mean, I can't take this dude serious.
My wife said something really good. She was like, I'd like to see what his family thinks about that.
Right. Because I think someone did ask him, like, are you gonna tell your kids it's okay to do heroin? He was like, he basically was like, come on now, like, am I going to tell my kids it's okay to have sex?
Yeah, but see, in the same vein, that's literally what you're saying. You want to normalize something that kills people. That's like saying, hey, let's just go ahead and make it legal for people to shoot people in the middle of the street for no reason. Let's go ahead and give people who are documented bipolar and schizophrenic, let's give them the right to carry a gun.
Right. Yeah.
Without a license. Let's do it. Normalize it.
Right. There's a lot of pills. There's a lot of pills of that onion, and the interesting and unfortunate part is that this dude, as a professor, has a whole argument on why he thinks it's right.
And that's why people take him serious, though, Deb. I mean, Derek. That's why people take him serious, because he's educated. And he can articulate his points to make it sound like he's saying something that we got to think about. If he just got out there and said, "Yo, man, y'all need to get on this smack. I'm telling you, that white horse is what it is." If he got up there and he said that, nobody's listening to him.
Where'd that voice come from?
That was my junkie on the corner voice.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Really?
So but here's the thing. What legislator is going to take him serious and introduce a bill to say that let's legalize heroin? So he's a clown.
A legislator that wants to continue to destroy the Black community. Let's not act like those people don't exist.
But I think heroin destroys white and Black. So
it does. 100% it does. But see, not to.
Well, here's the other thing, though. I don't think that it's going to fly because part of heroin is opium. And,
Opium, right?
Yeah.
The opioid crisis.
And you got the
Right.
opioid epidemic, and you got a
But
lot of money. You got a lot of money behind that.
But people who are addicts of opiates are victims, not addicts.
Right. Right. And when you think about that, like at this point, like there's more white people who are addicted to opioids than it is that are black people. So
I think that's one of the things that went over our heads again. So the point I'm trying to illustrate is heroin addicts were junkies and crackheads.
No,
Right.
crackheads.
Crackheads were crackheads.
Right, crackheads were crackheads. And
it didn't go over my head, Walt. I knew what you were saying.
But when it was heroin,
when it was heroin addicts, it was like, oh man, them was just junkies in the street.
Yeah.
Send them to jail. But now they open. They got commercials saying, "Do you need help?"
Right, you're a victim.
And none of them look like the heroin addicts I've ever seen.
Well, we know what that is, and we know what that's all about. We just want to keep it moving on that one. Let's get back to Joe Patrick though.
Okay. We still talking about him?
You got the audio?
Oh yeah, I got the audio.
Yeah,
so
he's a dummy too. They legalize heroin for him.
And so this particular one that I lost, that I will find again. This is talking about when he was talking about the guy Waylon, who was the country singer, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Morgan Waylon or something like that.
Morgan Waylon.
Yes.
Yeah. So hold on. Let's
sales went up after he
said
the N-word.
He did or didn't say the N-word. What I care about is your selective. My name is Joe Patrick, and I'm here to talk to you today about Morgan Wallen. I personally couldn't care less if he did or didn't say the N-word. What I care about is your selective outrage. Why? Because you're being a hypocrite. Don't believe me? Well,
let's give it on.
Let's use this flag behind me for the first example. See, a lot of you guys think this is the Confederate flag and you're offended by it. And you're like, oh my gosh, he's doing a video with a Confederate flag in the back. The funny thing about this isn't the Confederate flag. This is. And you're not offended by this because you didn't even recognize it. And this flag has been in the back of my last 5 videos and nobody has said anything about it. This is the actual flag of the Confederacy. And if you're offended by slavery in the Confederacy, then you'd be offended by this flag. But you didn't know it because you're more interested in being offended by what people say you should be offended by. You also aren't offended by non-Black celebrities using the N-word. If you were, you would have canceled Justin Bieber in 2014 when he used the N-word. You would have canceled Robert Downey Jr. when he used the N-word. You would have.
Okay. So we don't have to go any further than that.
Thank you.
So he is that guy. He's the guy who, I don't know, wants you to look at things from a different lens, I guess. But listen, social media is a platform for people to say what they need to say, and he's using this platform for what he's using it for. Yes, over 700,000 followers. Whatever. I don't agree with him. You know what I'm saying? I think that the stuff that he says is, incendiary, and I think he knows what he's doing when he says what he says. He seems like he's very educated and very smart, and he plays the role very well.
He's trying to increase those subscribers.
Yeah, so
that's what it is.
But even though he's trying to increase his subscribers, he believes what it is that he's saying. I don't think that he's just saying it just to say
right.
it.
He's not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and again, so I go back to look. Everybody has that right to say what they need to say as long as it's respectful. Once you get to a point where it's where you're inciting some type of riot or some type of violence, then there needs to be something else. You need to be dealt with in a different way.
But see, this is when that contrarianism and that just being a douche just for the sake of being a douche. So you feel like you're making a really dope point, right?
Yeah.
This isn't really the flag of the Confederacy. This is whatever. It's not the Confederacy that's the problem, dummy. It's the symbol of the flag that is representing the Confederacy. You know what I mean? That battle flag is the flag that racist and hateful people use to murder, lynch, and hang Black people all across the South well into the 60s and 70s. You know what I'm saying? Racists still fly that flag right now. So don't talk to me about historic representations of what the actual Confederate flag is, you idiot. Nobody cares about that. We care about the flag that represents the hate that has been brutalizing us for centuries.
Yeah, I think that was I think that one was a weak argument that he made in that one. Yeah.
But all of their arguments are trash. That's what I'm saying. All of their arguments are trash. Like I heard one of his videos. He said, you know, like, I'm gonna get a job just because of my firm handshake. No, you're not, you idiot. They're gonna hire you because you meet a quota. You meet a quota, and you're not gonna ruffle any feathers. And they can parade you around into all of these hateful spaces. Look, we're meeting our quota. Look, we're doing this, we're doing that. But you want to sit here and act like everybody's gonna love you. He was out there in the video doing his little square dance like it's cute. Bruh.
He was doing it a few times.
Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that. And see, that's the thing. Like, he's one of the idiots that wants to say black people hate everything that is not black. Black people hate black people doing white things. Nobody cares about that, you moron. Black people hate hate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Black people hate the fact that I can't be black in my own existence without some white person treating me like I'm less than, treat me like I'm a criminal before I even open my mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
Right.
let's. You're right, Walt. I think everything that you said and the passion that you actually portrayed with that was great. Let's put a bow on that and keep it moving. I think that we should talk about a good news story, specifically when it talks about the principal who cut the young prince's hair at school instead of expelling him. Crystal, you got anything on that? You know any more about that? You want to tell us about it?
Yeah. So the little boy was he was at school with a hat on, and the rules of the school, you can't wear a hat. And so they basically told him he was going to get in-school suspension for wearing the hat, and he wouldn't take the hat off. So he went to his dean and talked to the dean, and the dean basically said, "Why are you doing this? Why are you breaking the rules? You know that you're not supposed to wear a hat. Why do you have a hat on and you're not taking it off?" And so it was then the little boy said he didn't like his haircut. His parents had took him somewhere to get a haircut, and he didn't like his haircut. So
now quick question, was this the dean or was this the principal who was talking to him?
He was talking to the dean.
Okay.
The principal was the one that went and got the clippers and
all right, cool.
So he was telling the dean that the principal said, "Look, I've been cutting hair for a while, and you know I have some clippers at home. Would you allow me to go get my clippers and fix your hair, fix your haircut, and will you not put your hat on if I fix your haircut?" And the little boy said yes. So the principal left school, went, got his clippers, came back, fixed the little boy's hair, and he kept his promise, and he did not put his hat on anymore.
I think that's so dope. Let me tell you why it's so dope. For one, the fact that the principal went above and beyond to
hold on, Derek, you crying?
They're on mute.
No, Derek is crying.
He's on mute.
Allergies, my dude.
He's over here crying. Nothing wrong with a brother showing some emotion. I'm proud of you, man.
Well, if he was showing emotion, you just
messed it up, man.
Allergies, my dude.
So we would never know now because you just scorched earthed it.
Right.
Anyway,
I'm gonna tell you why I'm not crying, because I see that. I see things like that on a day-to-day.
Don't minimize it there.
I'm not minimizing. I'm saying, I'm saying I see that, like, we do that. We do things like that, and we promote things like that in our district. So
I think it's dope because to me it seemed like the principal went above and beyond what he had to do.
Definitely, 100%.
Instead of kind of breaking this young child's ego in terms of suspending him, he was like, you know what? Nah, I'm uplifting young Prince and do what I need to do. Let me tell you a quick story, man, and to really let you know why this resonated with me so much. I remember when I was in 7th or 8th grade, and I had a haircut, and the haircut wasn't the greatest haircut. I was very self-conscious about it. And I was sitting down in class, and my teacher came over to me, white guy, and he rubbed my head.
That's racist, by the way.
Listen, just listen. When he rubbed my head, the next thing he said was, "Man, that felt like Brillo." And I was done at that point. It really messed me up basically for the whole day. Now the teacher wind up coming back to me and apologizing, because I guess he must have seen how I took that and how broken I was at that point. So he apologized, but still in all, it was like, yo, why would you even say something like that? He was trying to say it as a joke,
Because
as a
he's
white guy
racist.
he was trying to say it as a joke, and obviously, it didn't sit well. But this is why that really resonated with me so much, because it's like, yo, that's dope. And instead of really breaking that child down, it really uplifted him. So
Yeah. So
Can we get that principal to come see me, because I need a haircut?
So the question is,
The question is that,
go ahead, Chris.
just for the simple fact that, the teacher, he went to his dean and basically said, went to him, and the dean asked him, what's wrong? Why are you breaking the rule? Right. Which typically that doesn't happen. Right. Well, at least not that I know of. A lot of times you hear about them getting sent to in-school suspension and not given an opportunity to explain why they're doing what they're doing. And so my question is, and Walt and Derek, you guys are educators, and so you see this a lot because you work with younger kids. And so do you see that where you see people asking, like, what is the problem? Why are you breaking rules? Like, because I feel like that could be the answer to a lot of the things that happen, and, sending kids home to get in trouble even more at home because we never asked why, or we never said, what's going on? You already know that's a rule and it's not something that you're supposed to be doing. So what's the problem? What's wrong? What's going on?
I think it is. I think it's a very common thing. I think it's common in different ways. So the principal actually taking the steps to cut that young man's hair, it's a newer type of act, but the foundation of the act itself is not new. There was a principal out here in Charleston who was working, Charleston, South Carolina, who was working at Walmart on a night shift just to have bread to give it to the kids that needed it in his school. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
right.
So people have been doing things like this. Like I worked in a school, shouts out to Chester County. I worked in a school where they had zero problem. They had like extra clothes for kids that needed it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it wasn't a thing of like, oh man, you ain't in uniform today. You got to go home. It's like, nah, you need a shirt. I got one for you. Come right here real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like I've worked in schools where teachers got belts and drawers. The humility that it takes sometimes just to be able to say, look, I need help. A lot of kids don't have that. They don't have that. They don't know what that is. So it's on us as adults to do just what that principal did, to do what all of these great people have done, see beyond that exterior and say, yo, how can I help? Like, what's going on? What's the problem? Like he said, sometimes you just got to ask that question. And I think the questions get asked a lot. We don't always hear about it because it's asked in a way, and then the action that's taken afterwards is something that we just kind of take for granted.
Yeah. So for me, like I said, I remember when I started in education, I worked at a school. This was 2009, Brick Church Middle School. Shouts out to Sherelle Jefferson, who was the principal at the time. I was a behavior specialist at the school. So throughout most of my tenure in education, I have served in an area around social emotional learning and behavior and discipline. And so I remember at that school, as Walt was mentioning, we had a clothing closet, right? So if kids needed clothes to be washed or whatever it was, right, we had a food pantry in case kids needed that. And if kids, if there was an issue, if we had rules and kids refused to do whatever it is, take off the coat or whatever it is, we had somebody in the building, like myself and some others in the building, who would go to the students and ask and say, hey, they're just asking you to follow the rules. Talk to me. What's going on? Why don't you want to do this? Right. Yes, there are a lot of educators who, want to have that power grab and and they escalate the situation instead of de-escalating the situation, and it's simply just a power thing. It's a control. I am the adult, I'm the teacher here, and I'm telling you to do something and you're not doing it. I don't care what the reason is, but you're simply not doing it. And so we're moving and we're shifting to a culture, a more restorative culture when it comes to students, and we're starting to ask the question, an additional question of not what's wrong with you, but what has happened to you, right, to cause you to behave this way or to do this certain thing. And so that's what we're beginning to really push and promote throughout the district, and I think in education across the nation as well.
100%. And I think, just to kind of piggyback on that, I think one of the things that matters, this is where cultural representation matters in all schools. You know what I'm saying? I got a homeboy, shouts out to the Pittsburgh public school system. I got a homeboy I went to high school with. He's now a basketball coach up there. He's coaching the girls team, and he caught a little bit of heat from a trash reporter up there because his basketball team seemed to be unsportsmanlike and they blew another team out, right?
Oh, was that the 100 something to 2?
No. This was in Pittsburgh. It made local news up there. And I only saw it because another friend of mine posted like, yo, this reporter, why does he still have a job? He's horrible, right? And some people were on the side of like, well, it's not his fault the other team couldn't score. But anyways, I reached out to my buddy like, yo, man, I just want to let you know I'm supporting you. I know you're not a bad sport. He was like, Walt, I appreciate that. He said, I found out some things about that coach that didn't sit well with me. He's like, but he's facing the same problems I'm facing. But instead of complaining about it, I go out of my way. I make sure I'm picking those girls up to get them to practice, taking them to the games, doing all these things. You know what I'm saying? And that's what education needs. Education needs people like that principal, like my homeboy, like you, Derek, like how I try to be, like how some of my past teachers, we all probably had teachers that we could look at and say like, yo, and that person really looked out for me and did things that they didn't have to do to get me somewhere, gave me opportunities, that I wouldn't otherwise had. So, I think that's what makes that principle dope. What
about if like, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because I think it's awesome. Like for people to do that, that's great. Right. Especially if they don't have it themselves and they're giving their last for them. Mm-hmm. Right. Just like you said, the teacher that's working at Walmart because, he wants to be able to give assistance.
That was a principal, a school principal.
Oh, a school principal, excuse me. But what about the ones that like, what if there are kids that need, this is just not a one-off, this kid needs it all the time, because he may be in an unfavorable situation at home.
Again, that's when you got to look past their actions and that hard exterior and get to what Derek is saying. What happened to you to make you behave in this manner? Not what are you doing wrong? Because what you're doing, Crystal, you're looking at it like, yo, this kid is wrong for his actions. But the kid's just responding to negative consequences or negative situations that have been around him that have kind of shaped them into being this person. I got to manipulate the system to get what I can get from everybody because I can't trust nobody. Or maybe I don't know when I'm going to eat again. Or maybe I just don't care about nobody because nobody cares about me. And the second one person cares about them, they'll stop taking advantage of that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember this one kid that I worked with. He was in was called a Moderate Intervention Program, MIP. It was for kids, I don't, they may have in your districts as well, but it was for students who may have had IEP or just individualized education plan, or behavior issues or concerns in the district. And I remember this kid, and I remember standing in the hall one day, and we were out, cool with all the kids. And I remember he kind of, he just ran up and charged and ran into me one day, just being funny, but it caught me off guard. And I remember I turned around like we were almost in the streets. I was like,
you was ready to put hands? You was ready to put hands on him?
Hey, listen, I was ready. I was like, hey, just give me a moment.
That's right. There you go.
Suda was about to jump out. Just give me a moment, right? I told him, give me a moment. And after that, we had an opportunity. We had an opportunity to talk, right? And and he opened up to me,
Yo.
and what?
Yo,
No, Devin.
have either one of y'all ever seen Derek upset?
I have.
No.
Christopher, have you?
Was it Myrtle Beach?
Oh, yes. Yo, it was a
Okay.
sight. It is a sight to see. Derek almost got us arrested. And then in
Myrtle Beach.
Vandalized the entire strip mall.
Myrtle.
What type of Tasmanian devil?
Yo, Derek's crazy.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you. So I'm gonna finish tell you about the kid, and then I'll talk about that. So with the student, we begin to talk, and and in the process of talking, one of the things he just wanted to kind of fit in. He wanted to be noticed, and he wanted to learn how to play basketball. So I taught him how to shoot, right? Completely turn the kid's life around.
That's dope. That's awesome.
Did not get in any more trouble after that. Made it to high school, was very respectable gentleman, when I ran into him in high school. And so it just takes the time to sit and listen to the kids to find out what's going on and try to help them, have some, validate them, right? And so that was my experience with them. And so I encourage other educators to do the same. So what Dev is talking about is, I think
let's get to this. Let's get to the strip mall situation.
Yeah, a lot of the homies came down for Thanksgiving. They came down to Georgetown for Thanksgiving, and we went to the outlet malls, and I remember it was we were chilling, and Shannon Hazel pulled up in a car in the Honda Accord, music bumping. And we were in front of Nautica.
That teal Honda.
Yep, the teal Honda Accord.
Shouts out to the homie Shannon, man.
Yep. And music bumping, and he pulled up in front of Nautica, and this young white dude came out of the store, like yelling, just you need to turn that music down right now. You're in front of my dad's store, and you're ruining business. Da, 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 da. And so I just walked up the dude. I was like, "Yo, who you think you talking to, man?"
He went crazy.
Like we're not turning music down. We're not doing da 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 da.
Keep in mind, this is like 90. This is like in 98, 99.
98, 99, man.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing: like, I don't get upset or mad about many things, but when it's injustice, when I feel like you're singling us out because we're Black, well, I'm gonna step up every single time. And so I was in his face. Until he backed down and walked back into the building and didn't say anything else.
Derek almost got us arrested.
Oh my God, Derek!
And they always blame the New Yorkers. It was worth it. It was worth it. It's always you Northerners.
And I know we got to wrap up, but I know that we did not have this on schedule to talk about.
Oh, here we go, another one.
Let's know.
Let's go. Yeah.
So, here in Atlanta, there was a guy that was in Waffle House, I guess ordering food, eating or whatever. He noticed that there were two, and the news is referencing them as juveniles. I don't know the race of anybody, just for the record.
Okay.
The two juveniles were outside trying to break into the man's car. The man saw them trying to break into his car. He runs out and he shoots at the kids. The kids jumped in, I guess, the car and drove off. Well,
in the car they was breaking
into the car they were stealing. Okay, yeah, or breaking into. Yeah,
I believe so. I mean, I got to check that fact. I can't imagine that they were breaking into a car and they drove off in a different car. But stranger things.
In case
happen.
they, when he came,
stranger
shot
things
at them, they
happen.
probably ran to their own.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, so they got in another car and drove off, and and then there was a 911 call that these kids were over Flat Show somewhere. They had pulled over. When the police got there, they had been shot in the leg. The two kids that were trying to break in the car got shot in the leg. So one went to Grady, one went to Children's Hospital, wherever. So the kids may be getting charged. Well, are going to get charged with, trying to break into a car. I forgot what the charge was. But the guy that shot them is getting charged with aggravated assault.
Yep. Rightfully so.
Why?
Because your life was not in danger and you used lethal force.
But you're breaking into my car.
You cannot.
But you gotta know the laws. You gotta know. That's why you gotta take those gun courses.
George Zimmerman gave a lot of these cowboys a lot of false energy, hope. False hope, and thinking that you could just shoot somebody for anything. I cannot pull out my firearm and shoot at somebody if my life is not in immediate danger. I have to be able to justify that my life is in immediate danger. Yes.
Now, here's the way it may be different, Crystal. If he was in the car,
yes,
and they was breaking in
while he's in it,
mm-hmm. then he can justify pulling the tote and pulling the gun out on him and shooting, because at that point he could feel like he's being threatened. His life is being threatened. Plus,
he doesn't know what could happen.
Plus, the gun in the car is quote unquote an extension of your home.
Right. Well, so, it's not just the gun in the car is the extension of his home. The extension of his home is wherever he's at.
Right.
So wherever he's at. So if they would have been coming into the Waffle House and robbing Waffle House, and he shot them in Waffle House, he has zero duty to retreat. But the difference in this situation is you're inside a Waffle House, and mm-hmm. honestly, aggravated assault is probably a light sentence.
It's light, right? And they probably because it could have been attempted murder.
They probably only gave him aggravated assault just to kind of be like, look, all right, we get it. You weren't thinking it all the way through. But he could have got, if somebody would have died, that's easily a manslaughter charge. Mm-hmm. But so what's the sister's name in Florida who was getting beat up by her husband and she shot a warning shot in the air.
Warning shot.
Right. The warning shot wasn't just the problem by
the record, that's my coworker's ex-wife. Okay, go ahead.
Oh wow.
Go ahead.
That's another story for another day.
Anyways,
that was in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes, why she got in trouble.
Right.
Why she got in trouble was not because just of the warning shot, but they said that she went to the car, got the gun, and then came back and fired. They said that she could have.
Really?
He's struggling with it. They said that she could have, if she could have left the house and got into the car, she could have left. She really wasn't in harm's way. So it's the same thing.
But what if he came out of Waffle House and was like, hey, get out of my car?
100%, he could do that. However, you cannot instigate or initiate a confrontation.
Yeah. Now if they shot at him, if they shot at him, then that's a different story.
But you're taking my car.
Your car. Just because somebody's taking something does not mean your life is. You have a lethal weapon at your disposal.
Here is where people get outraged, because they don't necessarily know what the letter of the law states.
Right.
And even though we all feel like old boy was right in doing what he did because they were stealing his property.
Yeah, I don't feel like that.
Well, how do you feel?
Well, most people would. I mean, I'm saying most people,
if he would have came out,
like, you know, the laws, so.
Right. If he would have came out and because I don't feel like he was right in doing what he was doing, because that's what makes it hard for people to carry guns legally. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're making it hard for everybody else. And I'm not going to project the race out on him, but no matter what race he is, it turns into a bad situation, because if he's a black guy, it's like, well, you make all black gun owners look bad. If he was a white guy, it's like, you know what? Racist. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, so it's like, that's assuming. Did we say the kids were?
I don't know.
I said I didn't know the race of any of them.
That's assuming it. Yeah.
Right. If I was to project race out there, so I think it's just a bad thing. I think responsible gun
being biased. Well, that's an implicit bias.
I just said,
I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you, man. I'm messing with you.
Listen,
I'm messing with you.
What I am biased about, though, is every responsible gun owner should be upset at that, because it's like that's how it gets hard. Like, that's why they push such heavy and strict gun laws, because of irresponsible.
That's why I don't need a gun.
No. I would say once you go to the class, but you ain't got to take classes in Georgia.
Sure don't.
Yeah, and Crystal, I would say.
So can he get off on that? Because I didn't know.
No.
Nah.
He
still law. There's still law.
Still has a responsibility, because they do tell you. I'm sure they do tell you, it is your responsibility to know the laws around carrying your firearm. You still you can't speed and be like, oh, I didn't know the speed limit was 45. I can't read.
Yeah, and Crystal, you got to even be careful with even if it's your home, right? So even if somebody's on your porch about to break into your house, in most cases, you can't shoot, you know what I mean, to kill them, right? Like I think they have to be inside your house and have to be an immediate threat to you and your family.
Your crib. Like,
so is that what they're saying about the Breonna Taylor case?
No, that's completely different.
They weren't in the house.
Well, they busted the door open, and then he began, and they actually busted the door open, and then he.
It does matter what time of the day it is, or
it matters to me. Bang on my door.
Oh, here we go.
Listen,
okay,
bang on my door right here, right now. At this time of night, I'm not coming there with my hands. Hey, how can I help you?
Yeah, but if somebody came, but listen, if somebody came and banged on Walt's door this time of night, right, like crazy, or 11 o'clock at night, and Walt shot outside the door, Walt could be held liable and charged for it.
100% I could.
Now, if they're in his house, you know, ski masked up, you know what I'm saying, Walt then has the right.
They deserve everything they get, and he will be within his rights to defend himself.
I got five magazines already loaded.
Yeah.
So,
I'm in love with the cool.
So we're saying that this guy could not come outside of Waffle House and say, hey, stop breaking into my car. Get out of it.
100% he could say that.
Yeah, he could say that, but that doesn't mean he starts licking shots.
But you can't start shooting at him.
But if they don't stop breaking into my car, right? And they're driving.
But that's the problem. Yeah. You are not in danger.
Right.
You can't kill somebody because they're taking
they're taking your car, but you're not in danger. They're not nowhere near you.
Right.
They're just taking your vehicle.
So how do I stop them from taking my vehicle?
You don't
call the police.
Yeah, call the cops. Call the cops. That's all you got.
Or you can try to run up on them and try to put hands on them. But
you know what I mean?
Put the
come outside like, hey. Get away from my car.
You can do that too.
You hit him with hey, what y'all doing?
Shut up, there.
The deep old man voice.
They're just cutting up
from my car.
Voice back this week.
Get away from my car. Hey,
I know you ain't got no smudge on my window.
Unfortunately,
shut up, Walt.
Unfortunately, yeah, he doesn't really have a case.
Nah, and he should be very fortunate that he's only getting assault, aggravated assault. Like I said, everything about that says attempted murder.
Unless they pulled out and drawn on him.
But see, if they would have pulled out,
maybe there's something there.
That's a different.
If they would have pulled out and drawn on him, they wouldn't have charged him with anything because then he's well
right. It would have been self-defense.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's in danger.
Yeah.
He's well within his rights to shoot.
This
all should put you all in the frame of mind of Jordan. Was it Baker? The loud music case in Florida.
Yeah, with the kid in the car. Yeah,
in the car.
Mm-hmm.
That situation. I don't know.
I don't remember that.
The kid in the car.
Car at the gas station.
And the music was loud.
Yeah, the music was loud.
Yeah, older white guy.
told him to turn it down.
And it wasn't the kid that got killed, but it was the driver.
It was the driver
who basically did what Derek did and was like, "Yo, nah, we not turning down nothing." Wada.
They was at a park, I believe.
I thought it was a gas station.
Are we sure?
It was a gas station.
I actually thought it was I thought it was a park in the parking lot. No, you're right.
It wasn't a gas station. It was a gas station.
Yeah, gas station, and they were pulling off. They were driving off, and he shot at the car.
Let off, and not only that, but then he left the scene.
This is the most recent one. Yes, you're correct. It was at a gas station.
Yeah, then he left the scene.
And so they drove off because the other guys that were telling them to turn on music shot at the car that had the loud music.
As it was driving off. It's on camera.
Yeah. And killed the young brother. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, so how was that the same thing?
No, I said this should put you in that frame of mind of how wrong of an action that is.
Because the guy got arrested for it. The white guy that shot at the car.
Just because.
Well, he should have. Why wouldn't he?
But that's what I'm saying. That's the same reason why this dude should have got arrested. Just because something is being done that you don't
wasn't
like,
in danger.
No, that's not the same thing.
It's 100% the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
You're saying, Crystal, in this case, they're stealing his property, and in that
They're
case,
stealing
they
his
were.
car. These people are in their own car driving off with loud music.
Right.
That's
But
not
Crystal,
harming anybody.
what I'm saying is still irresponsible gun ownership. That's irresponsible. You cannot use your weapon to rectify.
Crystal, you know,
something.
Walt, Buckshot, Shorty, Griffin know the laws.
I don't know all of them. I don't.
He may, but those aren't the same situations.
Listen, y'all. Crystal is just not right with the fact that
Crystal just wanted,
somebody's thing gets stolen and you can't retaliate in the way homie retaliated. That's
Right.
I just got. Hey, all right, y'all. I'll call the cops.
You don't have to say that. But I'll tell you something that was told to me by an old person a long time ago, one of the ancestors.
And we're going to leave it on this.
Yes, if you only leave them with one side of the story to hear, you're more likely to get off.
Yes.
I don't know what that means.
I know it. That sounds like something Crystal may like that. She might go with that.
If they
the dog that jumps in the water loses his bone.
If they can only hear your side of the story, if they can only hear your side of the story.
Listen, El gato los pantalones. Like what? What?
A watch pot never boils.
Heard that one.
Listen,
too. I've heard that one.
All these colloquialisms and
Only a hit dog hollers.
Yep, I heard that one.
I know that one.
All of them make sense. A watched pot never boils. I mean, stop staring at it, man. It ain't gonna work.
Stop staring.
Let it be. Let it be.
Yeah.
Hit dog hollers.
I don't know about that one. A watch pot never boils.
Yeah, they used to say it. Stop staring like you're trying to rush something along.
But it's gonna boil eventually, and I'm gonna keep watching until it boils.
Yeah, but you watching it ain't gonna make it boil. That's the point. You watching it ain't gonna make it boil.
Oh my God, Derek! Just
yeah. Listen. I really enjoyed this episode. Y'all were great.
Yeah, man.
Y'all were great. So, listen, in everything you do, take positivity with you. Thanks for rocking with us on 5 Things Off the Wall. Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.